Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk. On this one, I want to expand on how women love it when you speak their language. Basically, meaning their culture and the way they live. So join me as we get into that on this next episode of Let's Talk. Women love when you speak their language. Now, for those that may be lost, I'm not talking about your actual language, meaning French, German, Russian. That's not what I mean. In this dating game, if you will, you have so many different type of women. And one of the best ways to be successful with women is knowing who you are. Because once you know who you are, you're able to sort of not sort of, you are, you're able to cut out a lot of the fat and immediately sort of recognize who fits into your genre, if you will. Now, obviously, looks do matter, appearance does matter. We're not going to act like it doesn't. But when you can speak a woman's language, it's like a cheat code. It's like the video game when you hit a certain move, you get way more points than the other moves. It's like that. For example, you have women that are hood, straight hood. And the crazy thing is some of them don't look hood. Some of them look, if you just look at them, they look beautiful and elegant. Not to say that a girl can't be hood and beautiful, but those that are listening, I think you know where I'm getting at. The look, the profile says, oh man, she's a classy gal. But they were raised in the hood and they that's how they get down. But you won't know it until you talk to them. So a chick like that, you can be a little more rough around the edges with your approach because that's where they're from and they can appreciate that. You can be a little more blunt. Hey, you was looking fine in that skirt. You want to hang out and smoke one, da 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 da. That type of game works with that type of chick because you are speaking her language. Chick like that, you can't be coming up to him, oh, you look so beautiful, da da da. They're not really used to that type of talk. And let this be known. There's never 100% accuracy when it comes to certain things in dating. So it's not to say that opposites can't attract. But for the most part, speaking a woman's language is a big deal. It's the same reason that you notice if you ever go to poetry, you have guys in there that they kill it with the women in there. Why? Because they're tapped in, they're speaking their language. And that gives them the advantage over the average guy. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm a DJ. And when you're a DJ, the number one rule is to read the room. And sometimes you may have a white guy in the room, but just because he's white doesn't mean he listens to rock and roll or country or anything like that. Sometimes that white guy might be into Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass. And when you play the music, you're speaking his language or not speaking his language. And you can see it when you play the music. and the person's sitting there almost like, even if it's subtle, you see a little body movement like, that's them, that's me. Stay in that lane. And it's the same thing with a woman. A woman, let's just say, she's real hood. Just like how I said, you can look at a woman and think she's super sophisticated, super whatever, classy or whatever, only to find out she's real hood. It can be the same way with a dude. A female that's real hood can look at a dude and just think, you're a little too bougie for me. You look like one of them pretty boys. But then if they sort of get to know you and they see a different side of you, they look at you like, I was wrong. I mess with you. Because now they're looking at you like, you might be my type of guy after all. That's why I say it's a cheat code almost. You got, girls that are highly intellectual, hopeless romantics. So a woman like that, you coming up to them saying, man, when you gonna let me grab on that grab on that ass, when you gonna let me hit that? That might not work with her because that's not her thing. She likes to be romanced, and that chivalry kind of language is her language. Same way she can see a guy just off judging him, she thinks that's my kind of guy. But if he's hitting her with that hood game, she's suddenly turned off like, nah, I thought he was like this. So your language is almost like it's like a pin code. The right pin code works for that card, but that same pin code that worked for that card, it ain't going to work for the next card. So you have to really be able to identify. You have the girls who wear the Converse sneakers. I call them when I see them, I already know this is not a material girl. They wear the Converse sneakers and the little plaid shirts. And some of them ride skateboards and stuff like that. Girls like that, they not the big money talk. That's not really going to get them. They're looking for somebody that's on their level, somebody that understands them. When you're dealing with girls who are more into the material lifestyle, language again, the whole what do you talking to them like, what do you like to do, where do you like to go, da da da. That's not their language, because you're coming with an organic approach. They want to, like, now if you're talking about, hey baby, I can fly you here, I can buy you this. See, that's her language. She's tapped in, because that's the frequency that she's on. She's not into the whole like, oh, for better or for worse, or would you be with me if my leg broken up? That game is not for her. She's about that money, and you have to in turn be able to tap into that. Now, when I drop these videos, sometimes I think that I'm talking to younger men, but there's older men who don't necessarily get it either. So it's just game for anybody. For a man who's saying like, well, what if I like this particular girl and I don't have that game? That's fine. Because like I said before, a big part of game is being able to know who you are. And if you can adapt, there's certain ways that you can adapt. Like, for instance, some boxers are multidimensional. They can fight inside and out. They can slug it out. They can tie you up. They can do all these things. Some boxers are very cerebral. They have great movement, but their chin is not too good. So they quickly know that slugging it out is not going to work for them. But what makes a person good is when they realize their limitations and how far they can go. A quarterback doesn't have to have the strongest arm, but what makes the quarterback good is the fact that they're able to recognize which plays fit into their skill set. You have to be able to understand that, okay, if this woman is hood, maybe you just might not be able to turn it up in the way that she likes it. And if you can't, so what? Life goes on. But it's not the end of the world, because the worst thing you can do is keep trying to drive through a brick wall. You have to be able, like I said, when you're able to know and tune in to who you are in the mirror and know, okay, this is who I am. If you're an intellectual guy, you can, as time goes on, you'll be able to recognize the women that are the intellects just by a few words. You trade a couple sentences with them, you'll start to see, okay, I might be able to kick it with her. She may like me. She wouldn't like me. Looks is just the surface. Your looks are cool, you know what I'm saying? Women will check you out when you step in a room, no doubt about it, if you look good. But when you speak their language, it just shifts the pendulum. Trust me on this. You gotta know who you're talking to, and you gotta know what they want to hear. If you're dealing with a chick that's, like, I'm gonna give you an example, because this is why this video can't be short. Even in the dark side, and I'm not telling you to do this, I'm just giving examples. You got a lot of fine women that are into drugs, and dudes will, in that lifestyle, will offer them to give them some drugs, and they party with them. You do the math. So a woman like that, you can't be like, hey, so what you doing? You know, can I get your number? Maybe take you out Wednesday. That's not their language. You dig me? That's not their language. They get high, they party. You know, this is the world that they live in. So in order to get to the woman like that, you have to talk her language. Now, with all that being said, I'm not telling you to do drugs. Don't take it somewhere else. I'm just telling you that as an example of how every woman has their own language, translation, their own world that they live in. And you have to know, okay, what world am I from? And what type of woman does my language appeal to? Because in a lot of cases, some guys are just versatile, and they can go all over the place. And if you're versatile, that's cool. But it's no problem if you're not. You know, you got women that are from the islands, but some of them are, as they say, Yankee. So they're from the islands, but they're not like hardcore Jamaican or hardcore Haitian. So, you know, you meet a girl like that, and let's just say you're Jamaican, and you meet a chick that's Jamaican, but you're a hardcore Jamaican, but she's a Jamaican that's more Yankee. And you're like, hey man, we'll go to the reggae club, this, that, and the third, and you'll get some curry goat and all that. That's not her language. She's Jamaican, but she's straight American. She listens to Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang Clan, and she's not into what you're talking about. You're not talking her language. When you find now an island girl who's a hardcore island girl, totally different. Because when people are real island, they live and die by that code. They'll drive that extra 5 miles to find that patty shop. They're die hard into their reggae, you know, all of that, into their cultural. See, now that type of game works with that type of woman because you are now speaking her language. Follow me, her language. So, like I said before, one of the keys is not just approaching a woman and being bold, obviously that's good. And like I said, there's no 100% accuracy rate, but in most cases, you got to be able to talk a woman's language, because a woman can, like I said, and we do it too. A woman can look at you and think, he not my type, you know. But the moment she sees something that's a little different from what she thought it was, and it sort of fits into her criteria, she's like, okay, I was wrong. Maybe I can kick it with him. So just remember, you can't judge a book by its cover. You gotta know what that woman wants and how to speak her language. And if you can speak their language, there's no need for a translation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, peace, love, and whatever else you think of love.